Good morning. Let's see. It's still allergy season. I mean, the start of allergy season, although we had some earlier bouts. All right, so we had this is reading everything. I suppose I might be able to pre-process this in some way. I don't know that I just like get any denser than what he's got, but I could throw out some information and combine player birth and death into just a player record of some sort. Anyway, that's still not too bad as far as for reading like all of history. So what we want to do is like, I don't know if it'll work to take the first person. So actually, this is the lifelog stuff. So I feel like I probably want to do. This is the lifelog. We can maybe pull some of this. It's path reading, file reading. Let's see. Create line. Lives are life. Is there any of this to be pulled into this module, or should this just be moved into a different program? Right now I've also got life in here, which is kind of related. And very, very closely related to life log. But this is probably going to want to move out to whatever our sort of top module is. Unless we have this as a module, just reads the logs and does lives of everybody. Oh, and we are only doing server 1 right now, so that's another thing that's, yeah, we might need to do different bits. So for now, we'll go ahead and edit lib. Well, actually, what's our, no, we're in lib. That will require, now this is where we get into multi-file stuff, which can get a little weird when you're just doing command line. And also, right, Gaming, thank you for the host. Cannot load such file. Yeah, so we need, what is it like? Does that work? Nah. There's our library. CD to directory. minus I. But then we do actually have to specify the path of this one. I might actually want to truncate this down to a single file for testing. So that's gonna next. That's for each. Yes, I'll do one file, which actually is kind of what this was, I think. Yeah, March 9th. In Pixel Logic Dev, thank you for the host. Yeah, sorta. Alright, so we process one into lives. We need to start building out our life. Oh, well, it's already got the ID. So we do p lives.first.id and too left for to cry. All these live notices are going out. Thank you, everyone. And find method ID for array. Lives.first. What? What? Oh, because it's a hash table, so first is going to give us a pair. So what we really need is lives.keys.first. And I mean, you can also do that selecting from the pair, but this is closer to what I wanted. And one thing we already got is an ID, so we've got a player ID we can start looking at. I guess it's for one day. We could start to get into... I mean, the 2000 nodes is not as terrible as graphing all of history. So... the library... Ruby Gems? It was a path. I wanted to go to the path browser. So I think Graphviz R is the one. Yep. Oh, I just typoed something. Okay. Okay, so apparently it's never been updated. So we would runtime dependencies. Well, that's probably another little issue. So maybe we'll have to move on. We'll see. Oh, because we're in lib. Gem Graphviz R, which I cannot type for some reason. Well, this is rubygems.org. Our source is rubygems.org. I guess it's case dependent. Yeah, some unfortunate dependencies there. No, where is homepage? Another good sign. Oh, apparently it also had a... Anyway, this is the part I'm interested in. Graphviz.new, I guess it has a name. I don't remember if graph is a... digraph sample. If graph is a required thing? So we'll just... we should probably do a module for this. libgraph... yeah, sure. Is this a class? It's kind of just a function. It would have to be at least a module. And to just be a function on that, it would be... oh, or maybe... well, this is kind of a family tree, I guess. Maybe we'll have to rearrange that. So given a set of lives that we've determined we want to do, we require Graphviz R. E equals graphviz r dot new. That looks like it might be a symbol. We might need label and size, I'm not sure. So we've got alpha and beta, which is just defining properties of that if we have them. Oh, labels. Labels, labels, labels. Oh, so you just do whatever and that's a node name? That might be a little bit sloppy, but anyway. Oh, it's just going to be player IDs for now. Which is actually awkward for sending messages. Oh. You know, last time I used this, I was dealing with actual Ruby symbols. And then this is using some sort of, well, I mean, there is graphviz.graph, so that probably means we could do node 1, node 2. But that's the same thing, where it's just using miscellaneous names. Yes, this worked out well last time. Actually, this is where we have to do lives dot each do life, and then g dot oh, this actually has to go. You actually need to have these names. What we do is name equals life.id. I should return that to a number, didn't I? Well, this will kind of take care of that, I think. And then we do g dot, what is it? Send. Name and okay, now this is where we need some support for other properties. So we need the parent, which I believe is just another ID, unless it's no parent. And that is the birth.parent. So we're going to need to be more specific about toString and what does, well, we have to find a value for this. So we can actually, and just turn this back into no parent. That ID, no, actually that 2s will be fine here. Parent equals life dot parent, and we have to do this again. Maybe I do actually want a different library for this, because this is really convenient, but the IDs are actually kind of not working out for this case. And then 2 dot should give us a file. So for now, I'll just print it out. Acquire graph. Oops. Cannot load such file Graphviz R. Oh, is it a different name? Well, I've actually got an example of this. Mathviz. Lib. That's where did I never upload the version that split it into modules? Graphviz _R. All right, that looks like a dot file. We could probably even just output that, but no, not quite. This should be a top level thing, right? Init proc. Env. Save Graphviz file. T.2 dot. Wait, what's T and we're passing it a graph? Oh, is this individual? Those are probably my things. Also using 2 dot. File name graph.output. Oh, and I'm not using 2 dot here, so we're just returning graph. And then we use output. Okay, but we have to be explicit about now. It looked to me like the tool that I was looking up here preferred GV as the extension for Graphviz, and did not register extension. So what was that? Let's see, so is that something that ended up in programs or just in downloads? And what was it? There's Graphviz. ZGRV viewer. Is that still here? Maybe. Path to dot. Did I not? Command line options. Okay, apparently apply and close is separate from save. That's terrible. All right. So these actually are going to be wherever Graphviz put itself. Bin? Probably. Dot files directory, wherever. Shut up! I know it's bad, I'm trying to fix it. You know, this looked okay when I was trying it out the other day. Is there not a 2pi here? Oh, I have to be at .exe, really? Okay, that doesn't close it. Sure. Alright. 1 hour, 1 life. I do have a really nice program on my laptop, which is unfortunately not necessarily as good for streaming. Now, this could be a very big it's a very big document. It's a very flat document. And why is there just this mass? Did we have a bunch of people born from a single person? Oh, maybe there's a bunch of no parents that are all pointing at the same person. I should probably not generate an edge for no parent. Or generate a unique no parent, just to note the fact. Or maybe even, you know, I could use, yeah, so there's a bunch of Eves with no parent. And wow, day 1, there was like no second generation. Okay, starting a little bit better. Are these actually in some kind of order? I'm wondering if this represents advancing time as people figure out the game. Might be. But yeah, we need to clean up those no parents, so these are all independent events. And then when we can indicate no parent, there'd be a different shape thing to say it's an Eve. Oh, I should have left that closed the program entirely. All right, file, preferences. Yay, we saved. Let's see if we can just leave this up where it, see if it will auto regenerate every time we update here. All right, so the first thing we need to do is that we need to identify parent, and we need to say if life.parent equals lifelog no parent, then we actually need to do properties for this node. So maybe what we need to do, actually, yeah, yep. So what we could do is we do us equals g.send this. I don't know what you did. Go away. Oh, I hit caps lock, didn't I? And what is that? Oh, okay. Because scroll lock is the mute. I don't know how the heck did I hit that? But that's all we have. That's what we have alarms for. All right. Life log, no parent. Hmm. Well, this is creating a node. Also, I got this completely messed up. Then parent is going to be equal to g.send, and we do. No, actually, parent us. I may have had this backwards before. Yeah, because it was going up instead of down. Squeeze me. And can we define properties after the fact? Or do we kind of have to do two different branches here? So the easiest thing to do would be to do... Can we just say... This is probably an object now, so how do you apply more properties to it? So this is p left. So would that then be us label? No, that's saying that property goes to there. I probably did that on creating nodes here. Probably not unit. Units. Operations, maybe. Okay, node shape, node style. Okay, so we had a 2 dot. A node. Oh, so rather than send, we were able to use just bracket, which, I mean, is a sensible thing to do. Much better for string-based things. But we might have to define all of this up front. In which case, that's actually just kind of annoying. Well, this is actually here. So a node. What can we do with a node? Read only, read only. Generates edge, generates edge. Instance method. Adder returns object. Adder.merge adder. Now, if that's a merge, does that mean we can do brackets to set properties? Oh, because yeah, it was function call and then brackets. So maybe we can do not label. This is I had the big long line. Shape. Oh, live. Life. Live. Oh, yeah, because that was sort of in keeping with how he spelled it. And do you auto update? Because there's a control R. Ew. Did we get any? No, we didn't get any links here. Or you could at least see a little bit of fuzziness before. All right, so for the time being, we do us equals this, us equals this. An error occurred? Oh, it's reading through all the log files. P no parent. Oh, we don't want. I wanted to not even generate. No, this is. I got this exactly backwards. Us equals that. Don't even generate a parent. Let's get this sorted out and see if we can unify the definition again. Load file. Shape box. Parent of another player. All right, this is starting to look a little bit better. So we got a couple of eaves. Couple of kids. No one's living very long. This is like day one. Then we start to get a few families surviving a little bit. So man, I was kind of hoping it would just kind of scattershot these all over the place. But the super wide presentation is not very useful. If we had a family of interest, and what we could do is just pick a random player. So like that one. So we go to our family tree. So we pick. Oh, but I'll need to do family line tracing for this. To pick out a player and their tree. Well, we produced something. So let's do a quick check. Well, actually, here's a quick check for you. Okay, so that does work. I just had everything messed up before. So we can still do this. And get the effect we want. So gem file. We moved the code out of here. It add lib basically. Basic graph of one day. Okay. Now, day one isn't even going to have names because that feature wasn't in yet. So that's not going to be super useful. So we probably want to look at the presentation options a little bit because we might, for instance, want to do male, female. Figure out a different thing for eaves. So that's going to be more straight up Graphviz, and we might just do some stuff translating it. Dot language. Okay, I was looking for a reference. Character encodings. Labels. Okay, this is all fancy stuff. Shapes. Oh, this is SDL. Command output from node edge and graph attributes. Node shapes. How about we do Eve as egg. We had a gender in lifelog, right? Which I think was just MF. And this was in the birth record. We go def, gender, maybe it was in both, but we'll pick it out of there. You know what? This does raise the issue of what if we only had a birth record or a death record? Does death does provide a gender. So we have birth and birth.gender or death and death.gender. So in our graph, if life.gender equals I think it was just that. We'll set our shape to ellipse, else we'll set our shape to we'll just have to remember to do an amend. Wait. I'm seeing eggs. Were there no men on the first day? Was that a feature that was added later? Let's try the last. Wait, how is there exactly the same number of keys.first and keys.last are the same? Oh, that was the ID. Oh, I'm still doing everything. Oops. Well, no, I'm still doing. Okay, this is the first player. I need to go up here to do the first log. Oh, but I'm doing it this way. Well, that's obnoxious. Well, I guess what I need is a thing that just does a function that just does one path. And that way I can just throw a particular file at it. So def load log path load log path. Actually, this is the next. And if I'm calling a specific thing, I probably know what I'm doing. And the break. So that becomes load everything. Oh, but this is in file definition order, so it has to be up here. I can probably still use this in defining our files. So actually, instead of def load dir, so we don't have to call that. All right, load path dir plus the last. Let's try to grab a day where I might have been playing, and we can eventually figure out. So this is a manual path I did, and we are going to need the slash. 2018 08 August 19. Oh, that's names. Sunday.text. Squeeze me? What did I call it? Load log. Dir. Oh, okay, so you just need to be path. And then oh, I actually had the file.join here. It's a slightly more proper version of it. What? Oh, I encapsulated it. Well, where are we? So load log could define the lives it loads. It's lines. I don't want to just merge, because you could have a life extending over a day. I don't think you'd ever call load dir multiple times. All right, so then this actually does not need to be here. We can just have lives. Nil class. $79 what? Life log. Oh. So this is a death only record. Somebody who'd carried over from the previous day. Okay. So this is going to be, since this is what we expect in this case, not strictly true, but oop. Probably had a parent, which is in the previous day. It's a little bit bigger. Wow, still surprising. Some of these, a lot of this could be carryover. But, okay, there's no way that there have been no males here. So I clearly have misinterpreted how the gender is stored. F and M. Squeeze me? Okay, so that's the default shape. So let's make you box. And see if we're actually getting a change here. Because I did have boxes working, and I've got eggs working. So maybe, did I misread? Inv house. No, it is completely ignoring. That's so weird. Because when I do the no parents, they're clearly getting the egg shape. Which is just there. Multi-byte characters. That was life log, or did I end up moving? I think I moved that code to the top level file. Yeah, so I was using US ASCII, which is not the same as ASCII 8-bit, which is just like the raw byte thing. And I don't really know if I never really looked to see how I was interpreting that one player ID that had the funky byte in it. So why is it accepting shape in this case and not in this case? Do I have to do it like here? No. All right. Does it even work here? And I really do need to get tree tracing in, I guess, so we don't have to render as much. No. If I'm doing a parent on that, or a parent relation on that pass, or I mean, Ruby has redefinable operators. This is, this is kind of like calling parent dot us in a Ruby terminology. So in this case, parent is a node in the Graphviz R library, which defines this operator as creates a directed edge from this node to the given node. Yes, custom method for that gem. So why? All right, let's just make everybody eggs. Let's see if it does that. Ah. No. So if I'm doing connections, let's choose something easier to see. Can we do this after making the connection? No. So how is it that we can define this. Later we get the same node. Oh, because I'm producing a new node here. When we do that. Our? Oh, am I actually like making a new node? Shape egg. Oh, to shape. Okay, so the return value there is not the node. There's some properties. But calling this does do it. So I guess that if we do this, we have to do this again. Because that's effectively what's happening when we like go fetch parent. Okay, well that's awkward. But we know how to proceed. So, if life.gender equals female, then else we want to do in-house and ellipse, I think. And I guess now that we've modified that property, we have to fetch it again. Is it still thinking, or is that an error? Oh, nope, just still thinking. I'm not sure I like that shape. Because if anything, I mean, sort of representative, but it almost looks like it's continuing down when in fact it's not continuing down. I mean, maybe just box would be the simplest thing. You. That really is making it think, though. Alright, so that's sort of an overview. Now, some of these people might actually be related, just because don't have the stuff from the previous day. I guess you almost need to like load the previous day and then like look at timestamps to get a proper window. Yeah, we get a couple of long lines in there. That seems to be the biggest one on that day. So now what we want to do is, just for example's sake, I don't know. Okay, so it looks like this is kind of this family tree bumping up over here. So it looks like this is the bigger one from stuff that started here. So if we wanted to pick out that, my top level file right now is this. So 1110120. So now what I want to do is I want to go back. Get status. Minus M. What are we doing? What did we do? We graphed one particular day, and we discriminated on. Oh, right, because I did that accidental commit, so it's not going to necessarily show everything. Graph one particular day, different shape for gender, and we want to amend over that bad commit. All right, so now we are going to have to deal with some of the messy family tracing. Actually, you know what? There is one of the records has a length of chain to E, which could tell you if you need to load a previous file. For now, I just want to pick somebody and then start. I guess it's going to have to be a full scan, unless we do some sort of index by parent. But we can start with the full scan and see how bad it is. for anybody who has a parent that's in the set. In which case we might want to make that a hash again for at least faster lookup on that. So we're going to want to say focus is another hash. Focus, let's see, target equals, focus target equals lives target, and then you know what, there's so little in the graph, I'm tempted to just stick that here. Even though it's not strictly graphing, it's kind of something we have to do to graph a tree. Or maybe that would be sort of a player thing. Well, we'd have to have the collection of players. We'll just leave it there for now and figure out how to put it later. So how do we loop this? Is there a... No, it's not. Is it like loop and tell? I'm a little rusty on my Ruby. Oh no, it's not. Well, surely there's a post form of this, right? Maybe not. Until is just the inverse case. Okay. Okay, so while count equals focus.length, while count... No, we're going to have to say count equals 0 because we want to say, well, focus.length is greater than count, and count equals focus.length. And then we go through lives dot values dot each do life if life dot parent equals is there's got to be a way to do that, but I'm remembering is like member include. We're gonna what about Ruby? I guess we'll start with hash, see if it's got a convenient thing for it. This should be close enough. Include turns true if the given key. If lives, if focus dot include life dot parent mismatched indentation. Well, oh no, because we're in there. Then focus life dot id equals life. So as long as we are finding people who are a child of somebody still in the set, keep looping through. And then we graph focus only. don't commit again. Should probably have a separate terminal for that. Oh, you know what we should do? We should p focus.length. So only 103 in that family line. Renders a little bit faster. All right, so given a player, well, this only renders down. I would want to be able to put in like myself or somebody and also render up. So lives, if focus.include life.parent, or well, the alternate would be to just trace that life all the way up and then do this loop instead of checking for parent every single time. Focus target equals lives target. So while focus.parent not equal, well, it would not be equal to a no parent record. That would actually just be somebody. Yeah, and was this? Oh, this was an actual Eve, not somebody who didn't have a record in the same file. So we also need to check that we've actually found not equal to life log no parent. Not focus. Yeah, so actually target, we've got our focus set. We have our, well, cursor parent, not equal life log no parent. Well, cursor equals lives cursor.id. No. Cursor.parent, and if we got something, then focus. Oh, this is going to re-add things every time. And it's redundant operation. Might not be any worse than doing the extra check. Focus cursor.id equals cursor. So now if we get somebody down at the leaf, and we say our target is 111.4108. We still have 803. Oh. But something borked up happened to the tree formatting. Oh, I wonder if this is the order in which we added the nodes. This might have something to do with the order in which we added the nodes. 4108. Yeah. The order in which you add the nodes affects the layout, which doesn't allow it to use optimal ordering. That is surprising. I thought that it just kind of, I was under the impression that it was a lot more optimal about its layout, which means that you would actually want to do this as find the maximum Eve don't add it to the set. And then focus sub cursor.id. Oh, but we're going till cursor is null. Well, this is just an ID. While even this could be null technically. But we have to, so we need that check. This will blow up if put in a bad ID. It's not great. We need to pre-check. What do we need to pre-check? Lives cursor.parent, which actually ends up checking for no parent. So we should stop at the last point where it's still a valid user player. Stick that in our focus and then start building our way down. Or it could be an infinite loop. So apparently I stuck a no parent in lives. So we do need this check. And cursor.parent not equal to lifelog. No parent. I probably shouldn't do that. I don't know where I'm doing that. All right, this is looking somewhat sensible again. So that was a pretty big tree. And this is a point in time where we actually have names we could put on here. But we have done some work. Graph of a specific life. All right. So names is just ID and then text. And not everyone's going to have a name. So right now I'm kind of doing loading from here. Loads a log. We currently, what we really want to do is different processing for this. So an ID will be sufficient to create a life. And that will be kind of a root attribute. Well, I guess it's sort of like these. It's one of the things that we can include. So lifelog is built on some common stuff. I guess for parity we would have namelog. We would do a create. Well, that's that has a bunch of properties, so it's kind of worth doing that. This is really just going to be ID name. So where do we... Maybe we just do a... well, I mean, that is still a pair, isn't it? Do I need an object for that, though? I guess it's parity. No. Class namelog. So we create from a line. This is not going to be a straight up split. We kind of need the first word. Or I do a straight up split and then just recombine the rest. That might be the easiest thing to do. So we do new. So we just did new parts. Damn, there wasn't actually as much to do here. I don't need to create because I'm not creating different classes. So ID equals shift, right? It goes off the front. And then name equals parts dot join. And then enter reader ID name. Now, when we're sticking this together, let's get stuck together in family tree currently. So this is load a life log, load names, you, and not names. So if path.match, else. load, no, that's that. So load names. No. Oh, got too many lines. All right. So load names, file.openPath. There could still be weird characters since we already had it once. So this is going to be a namelog.new. And then this is not nearly as complicated. It is just lifelog, namelog.id, lives name equals namelog.name. And then let's give me some evidence that this is working. That didn't do squat. So are we even trying? We're not even trying. Wait. Oh, I'm not getting load dir. So to do this, we would have to do load names. Okay, we got IDs, we got names. Let's see if we can get without this and go back to graph. So now it gets a little more complicated. So let's go to life and say, all right, let's do this as def name equals name equals text, and then def name is either name, or now we do some weird thing like that. I make doubly sure that this is ORing to that combination and not adding on to the OR. This is not an accessor anymore. So now when we go into graph, we can just say life.name. Oh, I might need to do a 2s on that because of... No, ID shouldn't... If it's no parent, you need to fix it. I just need to fix it is how that goes. Although, will it accept that for names? Ooh. Of integer... Oh. I thought Ruby did that. I was wrong. Oh. Oh, I lost the, hey, it's some of these are parent. Everybody's a parent to themselves. Name for nil class. Well, this only occurred when we did parent. So else if life.parent nil, let's do something. Now we can actually distinguish this. This is probably a broken link of some sort. And 2 left for the correct. Thank you for the host again, I think? Oh, and hello, Shatterus. You didn't beep at me for some reason. Sorry about that. Oh, no, I did see that. I just didn't notice it was a different person. Anyway. No, we don't need to stick out too much. Oh. $21. Oh, we never actually did. Yeah, we're just doing life.parent. Okay. I mean, maybe that's still a thing, but... Name for integer. Oh, yeah, because we need to get... We do have lives here. Oh, I used to be just building it strictly out of the ID. Lives, left.parent. Oh, this has to be a mistake. Or I'm not matching up my IDs somewhere. So family tree. We processed names from something. P namelog P lives namelog.id. Oh. Namelog. Tee-hee. We can converting these to integers. Why did this mess with the graph so much? Okay, this family could have lost its family name, so there might in fact be a lot of single word names. Jarvis should not be a parent of anybody. You know what? I need to continue using IDs for IDs. But I do like... Well... But I still have to look up the node to do it. And actually, so now that I have a string form here, we can probably just do life.id.toS. Life.id.toS and life.parent.toS. And what we need to do is we say title is life.name if we've got one. Which name already includes the ability to handle that. And parent is... Oh, no, it's a label, I think. But here's where we do have to do lives. Life.parent.name. Undefined method for label. Okay, so that's for no definition. It's annoying that it returns the hash of the properties. And what we found in the past... You know what? I should probably... Maybe I need to stop getting node references here. Annoying as it is. I mean, it's certainly useful for some of this stuff. But we have to do that. We'll see if this runs into problems. We have to do that again. But I had problems where I had to refetch the node reference after modifying the properties. Yes, and that is still the case. Which starts to make the variable capture like progressively less and less useful. Even though it's kind of annoying. Hey! Oh, so it's Jarvis family. I don't know why the words got broken up. Oh! No, okay, so... Wait. Oh, so we had a reference to ID blah 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 as the parent of this tree, but that player was not in this log, so they didn't have a name in today's log. So I guess that the parent shape something might actually make sense. Was it Polygon? Polygon. No. It's like they... I'm probably returning it as no parent. No, that should have been an egg. Oh, well, interesting thing about this is that you can kind of tell where we lost the family name. So we got some Jarvis, some not Jarvis. And yeah, and then this branch. Yeah, anonymous person, people without family names. Okay, so we've got some name support. Load names, so processing a name, special case for this one particular thing. Apply life names. Now, eventually we could get into putting, like, age, cause of death, and get into parsing those things. Okay. All right, so we've got our player of interest. So now I'm just curious, how bad is this going to be if we switch from that to everything, but still focusing on that player? Or that line. We only need to go back one day, probably. But this is the sort of dumb, simplest way to... I guess you really only need to process the names to find a named character. 932. It's got a little bit more. So now... if they have a name, we should have Eve Jarvis. So I don't... are Eve names not recorded in the same place? Or are they not recorded in the same way? Wait, this is the same... oh, so this one actually... that actually was an Eve of some sort. It's not showing up as no parent for some reason. But it continued on to the next day, so it actually got farther down. Oh, there's a couple of them. But they're in like entirely different ID series. This might have been a server reset, because it's kind of a... well, or a starvation. You just kind of... we'll need to get into ages and causes of death to figure that stuff out. Alright, so now... I could go to... family trees on the main site. I can put in myself. And well, nobody was named Jarvis. I didn't have any big lines. Biggest line, or the there's all-time long lines. I was in a Generation 64 once. See what that looks like. Ooh, how does he do IDs though across servers? Because this might not have been on server 1. So that was an interesting test case. Nope, nope. And I also don't know when. Well, 3 months ago. So yeah, it's been a while. Right. Oh, one moment. Looks like it's raining, and it's time for a break. Oh. Okay, so yeah, those IDs are not comparable. I'll be back in a few minutes. Environs. Oh, that looks like a... look at the little baby items.
Hey, Nia, how's it going? Okay, perfect. No, baby! God damn it. I just can't keep a female character alive. What do I do?
So I want to like alt right click that edge. If I bring this up, how does that look? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, that's much softer. And then yeah, this back face actually, I'm glad I Selected that. I need to move this down here. A little bit here.
In doing carrot farms so far tonight, and a big part of that has been that this game's really goddamn overwhelming, and I just didn't know what I was doing. But there's a lot of okay.
Guys hurt. Guys, I got to give a shout out. Man, if my fingers would just work right now. Shout out. I am just like so wow. If you guys, oh gosh, that doesn't work. Don't know who Milton T. Pike is, please go over and check him out. He is hilarious. You will instantly fall in love and be inspired. All streamers should just so wish to be like that. He is just oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to slip a little nip there. Just put this iron down.
Yep. Ah! Well, I can at least try to get near to the truck, or actually I could even try to get near to home base from this height. Alright, welcome back. So this doesn't work. Oh, we do have the... Well... We have an Eve West. Also, this doesn't actually look... Wait a minute. Awkward. All right. So I thought I clicked. Oh no, I was looking at the overall long. Okay, yeah. Okay, that one actually wasn't an older one. So if we go here, and from what I can tell, there's been a lot of Eve Wests. Somebody just likes that name. So, killed by marked grave with chisel. This sounds like some drift in the object IDs. So I could look for this name at this generation. I could do a graph of everybody who's been named Lily. I mean, that might not be crazy. However, we're going to have to set this up so we can, into functions, were we in the middle of something? Just adjusting that. Okay. However, all right, so we need to get this into functions where we say, hey, difficulty rank, how about that? I need to get this into functions where we can say, okay, function given a target player, go up to their root and add all those people. And then we'll do a search for people named Lily and graph all of those and see if any of them end up in Eve West. So, see, that's an ID. Our cursor is an actual thing. So, def add family from a life and a lives and a focus. So then we do add family of lives target given the collection of lives there and putting it in this focus. Well, these are characters by ID, so we could actually do this as you do this and return the focus. So for now, we just take this. So we're not actually merging these. All right, so given this character in this collection of lives, should collection of lives be an object? I don't know. That would be a life log, I guess. So this should at least... well, this is not a useful target. We'll go back to this one. I guess we go back to cursor. That's effectively what that is. And unused focus. Focusy. Focus. And we could probably take this back to just the 1 day for expediency of testing here. Like that. All right, so all that's a function now. So we can kind of move that up and then have this done as sort of our final execution code. All right, so just that 1 day target. Why are you using target? Oh. Well, oh, that was the original target. Well, for you target, cursor equals target. Okay, that seems to be fine. Yes. All right, so now we can load up. There might still be Lily in that data set. We'll see. So now we go through lives.each. So now we've got targets equals lives dot. Oh, this is a hash. Lives dot values dot. Oh, is it? No, it's select in Ruby, isn't it? Select life where for life dot name equals what was 1L, 2Ls. Mother. Oh, they're actually capitalized in the file. He's making it nice here. targets. Also, I guess we actually can sort of do focus equals blah, 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 blah. And we can just turn this into a do. Focus dot merge add family. No, this is conditional. Focus. If life dot name is Lily, then we add the family of life given the entire pool of people. Those colors are terrible. Oh, we change this. Target true. Wait, how did we find 0? Well, no, we're loading a specific file. There could in fact be 0 lilies in here. Let'splife.name and just kind of... Whoa, a lot of E's at the end there. There was last name lilies. There might have not been a first name Lily. Okay. Well, back to the full set we go. Ooh, okay, there's a lot of lilies in history, maybe. Or it just takes a long time to search. But the other sort of in-memory operations have been pretty good. Maybe, I maybe should have found the list so I could just report some progress and then worried about merging it in. The hash merges might be kind of ugly too. And Toaster Fuel, welcome. I don't think I've met you before. How you doing? I'm beginning to wonder if I broke something here. No. Okay, there. Make a note to look at you later. I'm making some progress. We've got a... I don't know if you play 1 Hour 1 Life, but it's a game where you are born people and have kids. So I've been... And the built-in family tree search is this very, very simple view where it kind of leaves stuff out and only shows like the Eve and and then like 1 generation to either side. So it's kind of hard to tell like how your family did afterwards. So I'm trying to... He has published lifelog data, so I'm looking at trying to get more complete family trees out of that. And I'm beginning to wonder if I broke something here, or if I'm just doing something really expensive. So may I presume that you were doing some sort of programming yourself, since you're hosting into a programming stream? Or rating into a programming stream, even. Game dev and sometimes a bit of... Oh, Go. That's one I have never looked into. So are you doing games in Go? Or is that like for the services behind them or just different projects? All right, I want to know what part of this is flow. So, I wonder if we had a parent loop or something weird. So let's take this out and just print a life every time we find a lily. Well, yeah, this was an especially large family tree. I haven't tried to count out the generations, but game dev with Unity, okay. Website with Go. My chat, okay, yeah. I haven't tried to do Twitch chat bots yet. I've done a bunch of other Twitch tools. Well, I mean, if you're actually making bots, that's pretty good. All right, so we want to do that. And I'm currently processing like all of history, so that could potentially be a little bit expensive. Well, I haven't done the stuff to update the most recent days. So that's not too many lilies. Well, I mean, it may have just scrolled really fast, but it's not too many. So I feel like let's... Well, we're going to do this eventually. Let's not do the hash merge and see if maybe that's what got expensive. And then just do a length on how many we find in each one. All right, goodbye. Thanks for stopping by. Well, I was thinking of going off a little early myself, just I want to do some cooking today. Well, we shall see. All right, so we're finding some big families here. Some small families. But it is making forward progress. Oh, server 1 has had the ID resets. I wonder if I need to handle that to avoid some kind of crazy interfamily linking. I guess there's a couple of them. And a couple big family trees at that. And he didn't even have the first, second, third on the names until we needed it for cursing. So they could have been multiples in the same family tree. Somebody just named all their kids Lily. Okay, so the search and then building the family for each of them does take a bit. It might be more efficient to just grab the people and then find the ancestors and then do all of the child processing at once. Especially if they happen to be in the same family. Cut down your number of iterations. Wow, so this is actually, there actually is a couple of them here. Ooh, yeah, and there was multiples in a 700-person family there. Okay, so this actually does just take a while to find this stuff. I'd probably want to keep some sort of progress report as we're going for some reinsurance. But this is, yeah, this is definitely not efficient right now. Well, you normally wouldn't draw all of these trees. It was just like, well, let's see if we can draw all the trees and see if we find one that looks like my character. But, yeah, that's a lot of people. All right, so if I put in some sort of progress report, you know, like keep printing out the character or something, just to reassure me it's actually making forward progress. Could maybe try this, although who knows what Dottie's going to think of it. Probably going to be going to another one of the super wide graphs. And since it's server 1, we could actually run into some of the ID collisions. Which I'm not really sure how to handle that. I guess I'd have to look at that while processing a particular server's logs. And hope they appear within the same day, so I don't have to deal with cross-log stuff. Oh, and then of course this could have been another server. It's not really something he reports in the default lineage viewer. Wow, so that initial like kind of scroll went real quick. But there's just a few of them. Let's see, I should, one of these is a, maybe I didn't decode, yeah, there's a time, but I don't know how to decode Unix timestamps. They just left it in there as is. Doesn't really tell me how far along in history we are. All right, well, this is not actually going to produce any useful artifacts here. So we need to go back to, I guess we get, or even family, and then we can do family.length for some feedback on that. And then we do merge that. So now this is going to go even slower because we have to do a hash merge. Oh, add family.length. Left bottom. Yes, that is in fact one of the plugins I wrote. Well, it's the. Was that part of the dropped frame? You know, I actually forgot. Let me look at my script set. So bitrate settings, mic check. Yeah, so that it would be part of this to include the dropped frame graph. So we have that's not a full screen overlay. Constant overlays. What I put that under? Dropped frame graph. Oh, and they had to make some fixes, but my pull request to OBS to get actual color swatches on these did get it in some form. So there's actually a bit better feedback about the colors. So very similar to stats. We've got rendering lag, encoding lag, dropped frames, and then I grabbed network congestion kind of on a whim. That's the main thing you see most of the time. Just seeing a little bit of noise in the network. But yeah, there's that, and then there's also, if you define a alarm, there's just a beep. The alarm settings will pop that up if it detects dropped frames. And there's another one for mic check. And I accidentally bumped scroll lock earlier, which I had bound to one of my mouse buttons. You know, sometimes occasionally if I can catch myself sneezing or something to do a quick mute. And it kind of uses the same system. All right, so we, in theory, had fixed this. Was it a new error? Or did I just not write it again? Yeah, I originally put that layer on because I was working on that thing, and it's like, I can leave it up on this scene. Kind of let me see how things are going. Yeah, so it definitely feels, and it's going to get slower and slower every time as the hash gets bigger, isn't it? You know, in theory, I could narrow down 3 months ago to some kind of window, only process those files, and have a lot less lives to deal with. But I am kind of curious what this is going to end up looking like. Unfortunately, it just takes a long time right now. So what would be our next kind of project? I mean, we've got, we can get age, we could do time ago, we could get cause of death. You need a base to do relatives. I mean, you could get into that, but I'm gonna have to go looking at his code for that. Or it might be an interesting project in and of itself. I'm not sure it's my priority right now. But you could add some additional information about, you know, age and cause of death to get some sense. Because like one of the things I want to do is like, you know, if I'm an Eve, I get curious about how people went. And this will show you the farthest generation, but there might be a whole other branch of the family that got just as far. Or equally as far, rather. And just for whatever reason, it didn't pick that one. So that would be some relatively straightforward stuff to look into. And I have to think about long term. How do I... Well, I might have to ask on the forums if there's a way to associate the IDs of characters with the IDs of players. Actually, we've got the source code. It might involve some data that is not part of the export. But we can totally figure out how we did that. That's that stuff. Here's the logs. So if we go, we should actually be done with those. We might actually not be done with that. We should be done with these. So I've currently got this in offsite, 1 life, lineage server. This is on server.php. So what's an ID? This is very PHP. Life log, show log, clear log, show data, show detail, sequence number. character dump, character page, reformat names, setup. These are actions. So our action is on, well, he might pull this out somewhere generic. Oh, there is a linear server database. A setup process. Yeah, so this might be IDs in a very specific database table. ID, primary key, auto increment. Server, unique keys, is it server data? No, servers, okay. Users, sequence number. Oh, I wonder if that's even related to a particular player? Death time, ID of player in users table. Oh, wait, this is lives. So there is an ID, and there's a server ID. ID of player on server. Okay, so there's an ID, there's a player ID on server. Parent on server. Player's killer on server. Death cause. Object ID when player displayed in client. So we want to know what we're doing with display IDs. In life ID, get display ID. I might actually look up display IDs in somewhere else as far as what's inserting things. What is this? Log life. Okay, here we go. There's no arguments. This must be there must be a web request to this server. Server email age. Oh, display ID must be a parameter. Insert into display ID. Just print front page rows. So front page rows. Paste URL for age. Select display ID. So it looks like we actually need to know. Oh, we're done. Let's see. This could be a very, very large graph. Failed to build logical structure. Wonderful. Oh. I didn't actually arrange to output this, did I? Oh, I guess merge doesn't do what I thought it did. Oh. It's a functional operation. Well, there's probably a bang. That's an annoying little detail there. Make sure we didn't... That's actually a method that exists. Okay. And then we go back to... Did this open a new window? Yes, it did. So there might be a web request, probably from the server to the lineage server. But there's still... That means... So we're going to have to go to server. And it's still going to have to do a display ID parameter. I think. Display ID equals auto sprintf r display ID. What's r? R request. Web request, R request. Oh, so the sequence number from or maybe it requests and then gets an ID back. So does it request the next ID and then post it? Step lineage log. R request step. Lineage record. Simple vector lineage record. Lineage record. Email age. Display ID is a thing. Oh. So first request gets it. Step lineage log. Step. Request to record failed. Request get result. Still waiting for sequence number response. Num read. Lineage server. Start lineage. Okay, so he makes a request for a sequence number. Makes me wonder about race conditions. If we got multiple servers requesting, but maybe the lineage server would reject duplicate IDs. But yeah, so the lineage server hands out an ID. Actually, I guess as long as step hands out different IDs to each request, it would be okay. So it would hand out a new ID to the first server, and then it would come back and presumably post that later, and then the next server, if it stepped in the meantime, would get the ID. But that essentially means, so if we go back to lineage server, get lineage. Oh, this is all the words. I'm not actually sure what step. I don't actually investigate what step did. But it looked like a lineage server request. So R is a lineage record, which is a web request. What's a web request? Minor gems web request. So that is One Life, minor gems, web request step. This must be for anything that's steppable. And lookup thread. So that maybe there's a global server address here? Numerical address. Request position. Then receiving result. Is this some sort of like cooperative task scheduling thing where he doesn't like really do like any kind of thread or callback. He just calls step every once in a while to see if the connection's making progress. So that might be just kind of the step there might mean, okay, go ahead, start making the connection while I do some other stuff. Non-blocking. And maybe the lineage server responds to a post request with, here's your sequence number. As sort of a streaming thing. And then it can post the rest of the details? Well, I mean, the ultimate thing is that we are pretty sure it's getting the sequence numbers from the lineage server, which means there's no useful translation to the IDs there. I could maybe poke the forum thread about if there's a way to do that. Oh, are we done? Oh, we're probably writing out the graph file, because that's a lot of nodes. The graph viewer might not be too happy about this. So I might need to do some semi-interactive thing where you could search for a name, and then it would give you like the basic age, cause of death, generation, how long ago, date, and then you could try and narrow it down better to a person of interest to get the actual graph from. Is it just running the file now? Yep. Well, or it's processing, turning it all into nodes. I think when we processed like a single day, we were significantly less than 77,000. All right, well, I know one thing we need to do. We are in our base directory. I need to start getting in notes. So things we want to do is resolve ID resets on server 1. We need to... this is still all server 1. Process multiple servers, which is actually kind of related because we have to have some way to distinguish, server 1 generations and servers. We have life details on the graph. We have some sort of search method to narrow down life for graph. And someday maybe we could see about rebuilding this in a way where it'd be useful with having to download and run the scripts. Uh, 'Cause right now it's just kind of me hacking through it to get my own graphs. And doing this is definitely impractical. So that is going to be, just finding the people with that name was relatively quick. So we could print out the sort of first level details. See if you could narrow it down to the person of interest. And then doing that one graph would be reasonable. This is just writing the file out is appearing to be unreasonable right now. Probably should have picked a character with a more distinct name. Okay, so this is a bigger problem, which is kind of related to this in terms of how we distinguish IDs between servers. I might have to turn IDs back into strings and do it like, server 1 ID, server 2 ID. And then maybe you could do like server 1A, server 1B, server 1C once we figure out how to sort out the ID resets. Could do some thinking about how to do details on graphs, although we're not going to be able to iterate on that right now. Well, we could set up another terminal and do it there. Although right now they're all writing out to the same spot. So, where it was, no, it's Graphviz R. I think we're done with you and you. So that's the nodes. Well, we want to put textual information. That's essentially all label, isn't it? Special format. Okay, so we can do boxes. Well, actually, boxes might I don't know if you call that vertical or horizontal, but struct 1, struct 2, struct 3. So we've got bars. Hello world bar. So is it the curly brackets that define... I guess we should actually read this now, huh? Record-based nodes. It's the top. Oh, polygon-based, record-based. Oh, so that might force us into boxes. Oh, yeah, shape equals record. So record of shape. Shape equals record. Let's say style rounded. HTML-like labels. Let's have an example. Well, these are still boxes. Shape equals plain text. HTML analog. We can probably have some special like new lines without getting into that crazy stuff. So the kind of information we've got available. Gender we're doing is boxes. Population is a link. Server population isn't interesting. Maybe generational. It's kind of implicit in the graph. Birth and death allows us. Oh no, actually, age is in the death record. Age and cause of death are probably the easy ones, which is actually going to be in life, which might need to be pulled out by itself at some point. Def age. So this is only if we have a death record. Also, this is one we might want to do a little bit of pre-parsing on. So this is birth. Actually, this is the part we're really interested in. So age is another thing like this. It is part 4. Let's see. This was for parent. Parent. Is that right? Yeah, 6 letters plus the equal sign. Age is 3 letters plus the equal sign. And it's use a... Okay. It's floating point. And then cause. I'm not going to try to get into the fancy killer for now. Part 7. Oh, it is, well, there's the at sign. So actually, it's the at and the equals. Okay. But the same logic applies. We have a 5-letter word plus 5-letter word plus 1, so that's 6 to -1, and this is actually just a string for the time being. So age, if we have a death and a death dot age, or we're expecting a number here. Is 0 a reasonable number, though? It would mean we only had a birth record. Right? Yeah. Baby 0 age. And this is another death thing. Or... Well, this would mean either we had only a name or only a birth record. It's still unknown. So then in the graph, I probably need to just punt and stop using names, because every time I modify it, I have to redo it. even though it's annoying. I guess what I could do is actually convert the names to us equals life.id.toS. And then it is that, and this is g of us and g of us. Don't need to refetch that. And then parent is just going to be just this ID. So g of parent lives, life parent name. We're resetting that so we could do g of parent to g of us. All right, so that gets rid of some of the refetching of nodes. But this is... Ooh. Well, this should happen when we process the parent, right? We'll leave that in, kind of leave a note for that. And label. How about we do like life.name, life.age, life.cause, and then join. Try a new line, see if it works. And the problem is we're still waiting for a program to run. So family tree. We will need to do this as a separate file. And we'll go back to a target, which is actually in the specific file, which will go even faster. What is it? Lose that. Oh, this is kind of also part of that. You need to be up here somewhere, I guess. So give me a new window. Ruby minus I lib and lib family tree. Cause undefined. Death. So it's in life log. Death. All right, so we'll switch this over, I guess. Nect? What? Okay, so age worked. It's not having any of this cause of death stuff, though. Nect? Oh, searching through all the files. Nect. So I messed something up with cause here. I'm going to kind of assume that that means we're actually getting death and death.cause. So let's undo this one. Oh. Oh, that's the... Oh, so, okay. So this was the internal variable. Age equals cause is just cause. Oh, disconnect, which is one of the longer ones, apparently. So now you can kind of see old age. This is unknown player. I'm not sure how that happened. Hunger, disconnect. Oh, we had some murder. I don't know if it would be useful to draw non-constraining murder arrows. That could be a thing, though. It would be interesting if you saw a whole bunch of arrows going over to somebody else. That would require parsing into the killer a bit. And I'm not sure that the decimal value is actually doing a lot of value here. So really, let's display things. We should keep it there. Life.age .2i. So this is probably fine. And then if life.cause, I guess you should really maybe do cause of death there, since you're kind of digging into it. Match killer, then killer. Actually, it's a string, so that kind of works. Oh, I'm gonna have to get the ID of it, I think. No, because we're just going to the node ID. Then killer equals life.cause dot. We should only have to do this once. And then that's a node, so we do gkiller. Do you point at your killer? I guess you point at the killer. G of us points at killer. And I think there's a thing. Where's the... Oh, no. Don't close the docs. So examples. Okay, so yeah, we do parentheses and then edge attributes. Which gets us back to actual Graphviz docs, I think. Is this not node shapes? Label. Is there any like top level? There's sort of an index. Is it just color? Used by type. Colors as hex 2 hex alpha string color name. So we could do red, which is enough. Now what we need to do is make this a non-constraining edge, which I think there's a way to do. Constraint, not used in ranking the nodes. Oh, sub, wrong number of arguments. Oh, substitute this with nothing. Find method 2 dot for false class. Maybe string false? Okay, there's a little bit of murder going on. Okay, so you got killed by you, got killed by you. Looks like it was more over in this branch of the family. Killer. I guess the lines could have merged together a bit here. Oh, somebody was killed by disconnect and hunger. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing. I mean, maybe it's merging lines, but I'm not seeing any big griefers in this set here. Man, the routing it's trying to do here, though. But it could have just gone this way. Yeah, no major griefers so far. Oh, and this thing's finally done. Hey, Destructively Phased, how's it going? Let's see how badly this breaks the program. Oh, and actually I did get caught up in that. We'll see if this runs, and I should probably get off and get lunch. I want to do some cooking today, and I want to jump back into Oxygen Not Included. Start making a little bit of progress so we can get to rocketry someday. Graphviz is not happy about this. It does not like 77,000 nodes. Ooh, yeah, we don't want to do that in the future, I don't think. So yeah, the grand chart of all lives is probably not going to be a thing. You'd at least have to break out families somehow. Like, figure out all the Eves and then do one graph for each, maybe? Take all the no-parent people and do one graph for each of them. Spit out a bunch of files. Actually, with an index to which character goes to which graph, you could kind of just pre-compute everything, and then it wouldn't be too expensive to serve them up. Ooh, this might take as long to render as it did to write out the file. Computing graph layout. And this is server 1, so we may have had some ID reset collisions that are going to make it really hairy. Well, unfortunately, I don't know how long this is going to take. So we did some work. Oh, I did want to add... Although I kind of did some of the extra stuff. Might want to do more. So we did all that stuff for finding families, then commented it out to try and do this. We added all this stuff and the stuff to get age and cause of death. Actually, was that all the family of? Yeah, well, I sort of extracted that. Age and cause of death. Killer lines and name search test. All right, so this is going to be some huge obnoxious graph that who knows how long it's going to take. So I do want to get going. At the moment, I still expect to be doing programming Saturday morning, and it's often a time where I like update my 1 hour life client mods, and so this is a decent project to do there, because I'll be hopefully playing it in the afternoon, checking out the writing stuff. But that is going to be it for now. And we'll see if this wraps up before I'm done, but if it's comparable to the time to generate this, it's not too terribly hopeful here. So thanks for watching. Thanks for Toaster Fuel for bringing some friends, as well as Ned Makes Games, Pitch Logic Dev, Stormy Ice Leopard, Dog and Lake, Kuro Kitsune, Gamer Siren, Daily Tacos, and Oserat Gaming for hosts. I don't know. My schedule might still not be too terribly useful here. It doesn't load up as fast. I think it's the new Chrome. Or is it... Did I actually break it? Oh. Yeah, it actually... I've not tried this in the new OBS. I'm going to have to figure out why that's not happy. Yep, nope, wrong one. Anyway, so I'm usually doing programming in most afternoons, gaming most afternoons. Probably going to be a lot of options not included. Looks like there is... I kind of skipped one update, and then there is a new one out. So, what do we have? Do we have schedule information here? Yes, I do. It looks like it's kind of just starting. I think this is code. This is also some game development in Unity from the looks of things. So, Makings of a Hero. Somebody I found recently. I don't always have a lot of time to watch all the people I find. Oh, I've already hit my stream overtime. Let's see if we can reset that timer. Took a little longer than usual. But if you look for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. When I go, since I sometimes throw around my host offline, so when I go from live, I'm just going to do a raid. If you want to go someplace else, cool. If you want to go over and check out Makings of a Hero, cool. And then, yeah. Until next time.